Hey, it's been a minute since we've sat down and talked a little bit of, just talked, and I'm wondering, have you ever thought about writing a book? And more importantly, have you ever thought about writing your story? That is something that I hear from more and more people that they're interested in writing a book and that they're interested in writing their story. And we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. We're going to talk about books. We're going to talk about stories. We're going to talk about doing it yourself. But first, I thought it might be really cool to show you what I'm reading because at any given moment, I'm reading a whole lot of books at one time. And so this one book that I'm reading, and this is the main book I'm reading right now, is by Victoria Christopher Murray. It's called Harlem Rhapsody, and it's really cool. It's about W.E.B. Du Bois' mistress, Jessie Redmond Fawcett, and she is a real woman. As you know, W.E.B. Du Bois is real, and it's, of course, I've always heard Du Bois, but um, you know, the French pronunciation would be Du Bois. But anyway, it's about them, and it is about a romance that they have, but it's about more than that. It's about how instrumental she was in the Harlem Renaissance as the literary editor of the Crisis magazine, the NAACP's Crisis magazine. So I'm reading this book. It's really good. It's beautifully written, and this is the book that I've read last month. I was on the train. This was a great book for on the train and that kind of thing. And if I would ever sit down, it would be a great book to curl up with. But child, trying to curl up. So the other book that I'm reading, and this is a book that I read probably every 2 years or so. This is by Vashti McKenzie, Bishop Vashti McKenzie from the AME Church, and it's called Journey to the Well. I love, 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 love this book. And it is 12 lessons on transformation for women, and it is based upon the story of when Jesus encountered the woman at the well. Love this book. And so I've started reading that. And that is not like a straight read through. I read through each lesson one at a time. The other book I'm reading, and this is an oldie but a goodie. This is from Steve Arterburn. It's called Lose It for Life. And it is a book on weight loss and how to go about doing it successfully. And it's a very old book, and the companion book to this is Healing is a Choice, and it just has some really good information about emotional eating, which is what I do. I'm an emotional eater, about emotional eating and surrendering the emotional eating to God. So I'm reading this, and I also have two library books that I have not cracked open. One is by Common, and it is called And Then We Rise. And it's a guide to loving and taking care of self. And I haven't cracked this open yet, but when I was walking through the library, this just looked really interesting to me. And I am not the biggest Toni Morrison fan. And actually, my proofreader challenged me about that. It's like, how could you not be a Toni Morrison fan? I've read Toni Morrison. I'm an English major. Of course, I've read Toni Morrison, but I just, I'm not the biggest Toni Morrison fan. So I've not read her in quite some time. And my proofreader was like, look, you're going to have to try it again as an adult. So I am reading, or I'm going to read soon, and this is a library book too, Love by Toni Morrison. And you notice I have some library books, child. Use our libraries while we still have them, right? So those are the books that I am reading right now, but I haven't really been able to read much at all because I have been writing a book, and it has been such an exciting experience. Now, I don't really have the actual book yet. I'll have the physical book in about 3 weeks. The digital edition is available right now, and you can get it on my website for just $10. And it's my website is Crimson Kairos, and I'll put that link below. But Crimson is Crimson, and Kairos is Kairos. Matter of fact, I think I'll just like put it in here, put it under me so that you can see it. But anyway, Crimson Kairos, yes, and you can get the digital edition for $10. The digital edition comes in a PDF format. The beautiful thing about that is that you can upload it to your Kindle. You can use it on your iPad. You can use it on Google Books. So if you have an Android, you can go to the Play Store and go to Playbooks, and you can pop that baby up in there, and that'll read the book to you. Or you can just read the PDF with your eyes. Another way that I like to read, and I use this during my editing process, was Speechify. Speechify is great for editing, and you can actually clone your own voice, or you can use other voices with Speechify. So that is one of my favorite ways to read PDFs. And I'm acting like they're giving me money. This is coming off like an ad, but I am unsponsored content. So anyway, my book. So this is not my book. I call this my books. I call this the play cousin to my first book, because I literally just printed the cover and wrapped it around another book. But this is my book. This is how my book is going to look. And it is called Pearl. It's a novel. It is my first novel. And that's really probably why you tapped into this video today, because we're going to talk about writing a book and why I wrote a book. So Pearl actually emerged from a short story that I wrote about my grandmother, and it was around pandemic time, and I was working through some things with my therapist, and some things that I do that I noticed that my mother does, and I was thinking about it, and I was trying to figure out, does my grandmother do this same thing too? And it's really based about attractiveness and looks and stuff like that. And there's some hangups that I have personally, and I noticed my mom has those same hangups. And I was trying to figure out, does my grandmother have these hangups, right? So I was writing the story, I was putting myself in the mind of my grandmother. And what ended up emerging, instead of the thing that I was looking for, is I started thinking about this great love story between my grandmother and my grandfather. So they had my mom in 1935, but they did not get married until they were in their 60s. And that was like around 1968 or so, And so I thought that was super cool. Like, I thought that was super cool, right? So I kind of delved into that. And at first I was going to do a family history. And so I was all up in Ancestry. I was looking through the census. I was getting all the letters that I could get. I was, really trying to piece together a family story. And that's what I was going to do. I was going to feature person by person by person. And when I realized that was way too it was way too fragmented, and it would have taken me years and years and years of research to really do that, to really write a true family history. And there were just too many holes in the story. I probably got like 20 pages out of the true story. And so I started thinking about how I could structure some similarities to the folks and my family, and I was going to do that kind of thing. And then I thought, okay, how am I going to really structure it? And so I went back to the fact that I was trying to understand my mother and trying to understand my grandmother. And I thought, that's it. I can talk about the thing that kind of holds us together. And so whether it's my grandmother, whether it's me, whether it's my mother, we all have this mother wound, right? And our mother wound in our family is abandonment. In the case of my grandmother and my mother, it is physical abandonment. And in my case, it's more emotional abandonment. And so I was like, how am I going to put that together in a novel, right? And so I started writing this about 4 years ago. And I kind of went through the ups and the downs of it, and at one point I was kind of reliving some childhood trauma. That was not fun. Not fun at all. But then I was able to uh, kind of step back from the true story and write a fictional story and really write find a through line. And so what I ended up doing is I divided the book into three parts. So there is the book of Pearline, there's the book of May Ruth, and the book of Ray. And so this morphed into being about three women that I know, including me. I'm one of the women, and being characters. Characters, yeah, definitely inspired by us, but the characters became their own distinct people. And it was really an interesting process for me because even though it became a work of fiction, in real life, it was very healing to me because I had to think through so many things that I encountered. And I had to think about some of the reasons. And recently, my mother told me that she's read my book, and my mother is 91 years old. And my mother told me that reading the book made her understand her mother more and feel closer to her, which just blew my mind. And it's interesting because writing the book made me understand my mother more and feel closer to her. So it was like I walked into this exploring this mother wound and ended up kind of stumbling into a healing because nothing happens by chance, but stumbling into some healing. So super excited about the book. And and if you want to do this type of thing, what I would suggest, I'm a revelatory writer, right? Some people like to sketch out their books and outline things. That is not my process. My process is to sit down and put pen to paper, literal pen to paper, and really like write out thoughts and get those out. And if you are interested in writing a book, if you have a book in you, and particularly if it's a book that is about your family history or about you personally, what I suggest is that you put pen to paper and that you begin to sketch out your thoughts. And yeah, you can type it. I mean, you can type it too if that works best for you. But really begin to write down what you are thinking without judging it. And I think that was the thing about the process that was the most beautiful for me, because I allowed myself to just write and not edit myself. I just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. And I probably have a good, I don't know, 50 versions of maybe 40 versions of this book now. I don't know, I haven't counted, because every time I would finish a draft, I would save it. And so I have all these drafts of the book. And if you look at the drafts from a few years ago and look at the book now, there's a lot of differences. And so I would suggest that you put pen to paper and give yourself an opportunity to give your story an opportunity to unfold without you judging it. I would also suggest that you don't get a lot of feedback in the initial stages, maybe as the work evolves, but when you began the story, really just spend time with you and you, right? I mean, if you want to gather stories from people, that's cool. But in terms of crafting the story, and the words that you'll put in it, the thoughts and the feelings you'll put behind it, listen to yourself, get quiet, listen to yourself, and really hear what's going on in your head about yourself and about your family, right? And I offer this suggestion because it's my process. Obviously, everybody can have a different process, but that is the process that worked for me. I am very proud of what came out of it. I'm getting some amazing feedback from Pearl. Matter of fact, I will put some of the feedback up in this. Here, I'll put something right there. So if you look right there, you're seeing one piece of feedback. So that is actually what my mother told me, and I just explained that to you, but that is what my mother said. And I have another family member who I'm pretty close to who had feedback, and I'll put that right here. This is me smiling and letting you read. So yeah, this is the type of feedback I'm getting, but I'm not just getting feedback from family members, right? Right here, you see this? This is feedback that I recently got from someone that just blew my mind when she told me how quickly she read the book, how it impacted her. And so the feedback has been great for me because it lets me know that the story is getting through to people. And so, yeah, so that's it. That's Pearl. And I think I might make this a 2-part video. So I'm about to end this part right now. And in the second part, I think what I'll do is read you an excerpt from Pearl because I'm so eager to share with you guys. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm signing off.